video. That's you just go through the video. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Alright, so first setup, material setup. Material that we're going to be using. So these are single-sided PCB boards. Fiberglass on the back, layer of copper on the top. We have to choose X, Y, and then this is the actual width of the PCB, including copper. All demoed down here. Next portion is going to be our actual design. So the red lines here indicate that with the current bits, it's not going to be able to mill it. So for PCBs, we have special bits for getting very, very thin traces, very thin margins between traces. That'll be the 5mm bit that we're using here. It takes care of all of those issues. And for the sake of time right now, we're just going to do the traces. Do the rest in a little bit. So this is trace depth. This is how far into the copper it's going to go. And this usually is just to take off that top layer of copper, but when you are dealing with the PCB bits, they're angled. So the farther in you go, the wider it gets. So you have to get it on the very end so it's actually 5mm across. Otherwise it'll just keep getting wider and screw up your board. And this one's just how much space around. So it's going to be final design. Cut all of that off. Those would be the traces, copper in between. Generally, in a professional sense, they would cut the copper off in between. For time's sake, we're not going to do that. You'll still be able to solder your components on and everything. You guys can cut it off there.
The video?
Yeah.
Alright, so for the FM transmitter, we built our circuits. Each one of us got about the same results on these, which is unfortunately we're not achieving FM modulation where it should be changing in frequency this way. We are getting a bit of a signal here, but unfortunately any touching of it is more doing AM modulation than FM, so fun stuff. Possible causes of this are some of the traces were slightly lifted up. The antenna didn't want to stick and has frequently come out, and there could just be an issue with one of the transistors within the circuit where it's not in forward bias due to some other blown transistor or something of that nature. So there are various issues that hopefully we could investigate in the future, but for now this is the FM circuit.
Alright, so here's my circuit, and as Ian stated, all of ours did not achieve the FM, the frequency modulation, and possibly the reason why mine didn't is because one of my traces actually came off, so I had to wire it with just a plain wire and solder it. So that could be a possibility, and also the same thing happened with the antenna where it was just coming out, so it's not really stable. So it could be either that or something else in the circuit that's not soldered correctly, that's just not working, or again another part that unfortunately just isn't working properly in the circuit. So.
Okay, so here's my FM transmitter circuit. Again, no results or no output signal from the antenna. Couple suspects could have been, I didn't notice any obvious opens or shorts with solder, but I did notice a couple hot spots where I maybe applied the iron too long and could have heated up a transistor or something and blew it out. So those are my suspicions on my circuit. So